Welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2025, Cindy.
Welcome, Melinda. And
Yeah,
thank you for inviting me. It's really nice to be here.
yeah. Before going to our session, I would like to introduce you to our audience.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Cindy is the creator of the Joy of Life method and seasoned business mentor, speaker, and podcast guest with a master's in business engineering. She brings over 20 years of entrepreneurial experience and 8 years in corporate leadership to her work. As the co-founder and CEO of Allergia Coaching, she helps high-achieving businesswomen work smarter, prioritize self-care and care, create more time, freedom, and energy. Cindy has co-founded 4 successful businesses in Provence and blends strategy, mindset, and join her unique approach. She believes true leadership begins with how we lead ourselves. That was a great bio, Cindy, and stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you. I'll share my presentation. One
Yeah,
second.
could you please proceed with your presentation?
Okay, I'm going to share it now. Okay, can you see it, Melinda?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and okay, perfect. I don't see myself, but it's not any problem. So let's start with this presentation. And first of all, thank you for the introduction, Melinda. And it's really, for me, an honor to be here on this Global Virtual Summit on visionary leadership. So for me, to share this space with so many purpose-driven and powerhouse women is really very nice. And so I'd like to invite you into a leadership conversation, which is a little bit different than normal. A conversation where joy of life is not just a feeling, but a strategy. And if you lead with joy, you will unlock much more than just results. You will create more time, more freedom, and more of who you truly are. So I will start to introduce myself a little bit more, but most importantly, to tell you why I do what I'm doing. So I am the co-founder and the CEO of Alegria Coaching. And I'd like to pause with a word, alegría, because alegría means in Spanish joy of life. And for me, this is not just a word. It's like a thread that has been following me throughout my complete journey in my personal and professional journey for more than 20 years now. So when I finished my master degrees in business engineering, I started to work in the corporate world. And I'm from Belgium, so I started to work in Belgium in the corporate world, and I did it for 8 years. I spent 8 rich years there, and I was at that time learning a lot. I was growing, I was leading. But the most important thing for me was that I met my husband there. And after 8 years, my husband and I, we decided to follow our heart. And we went all the way from Belgium to the south of France, and we wanted to realize our dream. And since then, we have created 4 successful heart-led businesses. And every business contains the word alegría. And alegría, the joy of life, is so important because at the end of the day, no matter what we do in business or in life, it all comes back to one question, saying, how much joy are we truly experiencing? And this is what really inspires me. It drives me and inspires me to let people live and lead from a place of joy. And over the years, I've witnessed so many different brilliant businesswomen who sacrificed their success, not their success, they sacrificed their well-being in pursuit of their success. And I personally am one of those people. And this is why I created the Joy of Life method. And so today, as a business and Joy of Life strategist, a speaker, a podcast guest. What I think and what I do is to empower high achieving businesswomen, whatever, if they're working as an entrepreneur in the corporate world, to work smarter and prioritize self-care so they can really create more time, more freedom, and more energy to do what they love. And most importantly, without sacrificing their success, their joy, or their well-being. So for me, true leadership, it doesn't start with doing more. It starts with being aligned. And so today I'm really happy to tell you and to show you how joy can be an advantage in your leadership. So I'm going to first start a little bit to tell you more about why a balanced life matters if you want to create joy. First of all, because it reduces stress and overwhelm. And in true leadership, that doesn't start with exhaustion. It starts with clarity and with energy. And if you gain clarity, and you will really get more focus. And if you prioritize on self-care, you will have more energy. And when you combine both the energy and the clarity, they will create balance together. And this is why it's important, because your stress will little by little fade away together with your overwhelm, and this will make space for joy. The second reason why balance is important, because it helps you to embrace fulfillment, and it lets you believe and trust that professional success and professional business and personal happiness, they can coexist together. So you don't have to choose between one or another. They can really be there together. And when you stop choosing but start aligning with both, things are really shifting, and you will feel more like grounded, more present, and more joyful. And then the third reason is because balanced lives, they build lasting success, and not only in your business, but in all areas of your life. So leading with balance, it isn't just a nice thing to have. It is, for me, essential for having more clarity, for your alignment, and for experiencing more joy. So with this said, I'd like to continue with a work-life balance myth, because most people, they believe that balance means doing more, doing less, or doing everything. But the truth is that balance means doing what truly matters to you instead of trying to do it all. And the important part here is that it has nothing to do with perfection. It's everything to do with priorities and progress. So clear priorities and consistent progress. And the nice part about it, there's like a little ripple effect, because it's not only having this balanced life, it's not only about feeling good, because research has shown that it also boosts your productivity with 31% and your creativity with 300%. So a balanced life, it's not really just a soft skill, it is a strategic advantage. And if you really want better results in your business and your life, it's important that you start with balancing and adapting what truly matters to you. Let's continue now, because when we know that a balanced life is important and it's like a strategic advantage, we can ask ourselves the question, how can we create it? And this is where I have my 7 steps of my Joy of Life method. And these are just practical steps that help you to create and achieve a more balanced life, and where you will have more time, more freedom, and more joy. So I will just list them up here, and then afterwards I will dive in with some practical tips, because I wanted to be practical as well, with some practical tips later on. So I just give you the list of the 7 practical and proven steps that I use in my program with my clients. So the first one is to create sustainable self-care rituals. The second one is to become a master in managing your day. The third one is reclaim your time with smarter prioritization. The fourth, master the art of delegation. Number 5, set boundaries that empower you, not restrict. Number 6, adopt a joy-fueled success mindset. And the last one is find fulfillment through alignment. And if you see these keywords, it's like self-care, managing your day, prioritization, delegation, boundaries, mindset, and alignment. It's not something completely new I'm telling here, because I heard some other beautiful talks already, and these words, they are coming back. But I just put them all together because for me, they are the pillars and the foundation of a joyful life. So, as I said, I can't go deeper into everything today because each one of them is a strategy and I can talk hours and hours and hours about it. But what I will do is I will go dive in and walk you through the four first and give you some practical examples so that you can, if you like, go ahead with them straight away. So, the first one, the most important for me of all the 7 steps I gave you, it's to prioritize self care. Because in general, we try to do everything for everyone except ourselves. And this is where it's sometimes a little bit weird because we're helping our clients, we're helping our partner, our kids, our friends, family, everybody. And at the end of the day, we hope that maybe if we have a little bit of time left, then maybe we do something for ourselves. But to be honest, it doesn't really work like that. And so the most important thing is here that we just have to flip the pattern and we just have to start with ourselves. Because if we don't do that, this is why we don't have any energy anymore. This is why we feel exhausted, why we feel like sometimes starting with a burnout. It is because we just don't fuel ourselves. But when we flip the pattern and we start to lead ourselves first, things will really shift. And if you create a daily self care habit, it is so crucial because this, for me, this is your leadership fuel. This is your energy source. So you can do it and integrate it in your daily planning. And no matter what it is, it doesn't matter. The only thing that is important is that it makes you feel good. So, whatever, if it's meditation, if it's doing exercising, journaling, nature walks, singing, breathing, it just is so important that you fuel yourself with this energy and do something that you like. And I can recommend it to do it in the morning because this is when life is not just coming to you already. So there are no mails, no meetings, no noise coming into you. And taking advantage of this beautiful, calm moment to have some me time and to do something for you, it has like an amazing effect. I can really recommend it to everyone. And important there as well is don't be too hard on yourself and just take the time that is possible for you in your life. It can take like 5 minutes of your day, it can take like 30 minutes, an hour. I personally, I stand up 1 hour earlier because I feel so energized when I do things just for me. It calms me down and it energizes me at the same time. But there are days that are more challenging. And so sometimes it doesn't work out. And then it's fine to just do it 5 minutes or just even 1 minute of breathing and being in the present moment. And the idea is to make it a habit that at a certain time you don't even have to think about anymore. So I hope that this can inspire you to take this time for you and not to procrastinate and say maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. So I invite you to start today to think about what is one little self-care habit you can start with. So you can put it in the chat, you can write it down, but make it a habit and start with something. And even it looks like a very small little step, but we all know that all small steps, they can have like a huge impact on your life. And I can tell you this, I didn't do it before, but once I start doing it, it's like priming your day for success and it's like huge. So this was the number one. And thanks for thinking about a little self-care daily routine habit. The next one, the next one I'd like to talk about is we are now, thanks to the energy and the self-care, we're already fueled our day. So the next one is important to see and to know how we can protect the energy. How can we protect the energy that we just have throughout the entire day? Because that is the question. How can we do that? And there is where my work smarter, not harder comes in. And in my Joy of Life method, I call it the 3 to Thrive. And the first one of the 3 to Thrive, it's a very simple one. It's really a very simple one. It's all about prioritization. But it's so simple that, funny enough, most of the people, they just don't prioritize their tasks. And I will give you two practical examples so that you can use in your day-to-day life on how to prioritize your tasks. So one of the key things that is very known, it's the 80-20 rule. It's a Pareto principle. And I'll explain you a little bit more. So 80% of your results, they depend on 20% of your actions, which means, and I repeat this, 80% of results, they come from 20% of your actions. If I reframe it differently, saying 20% of the results, they come of 80% of the actions. And this is what mostly happens. Most of the people, they focus on this 80%, which only brings them the 20%. And this leads them to frustration, to overwhelm, stress. So here again, we have to flip the pattern and just focus on this 20%. And this 20%, these are high impact and high income activities. And if you focus on that with the 80% results, you will see that not only you will have more joy, more success, and more energy thanks to that, but you will gain much more time thanks to focusing on the things that really matter for your business. And you can do the same for your personal life. So I don't know if somebody can share it in the chat or note it down. Just note down one little high impact or high income activity that will become your priority as from next week, Monday. Okay, so now a second little tip is the not to-do list. And why a not to-do list? Because it's as important to know what not to do as to know what to do. And it's important because this talks about removing distractions, removing low value or draining activities. And if you do that, it will really boost and focus your productivity. So having this said, I hope this can help you. And there again, if you're in the mood, just write down or share in the chat what is one thing you like to put on your not to-do list. Okay, let's continue with the second of the 3 to Thrive. The second one is that, again, can help you to work smarter, not harder. These are the 3 Ds. It is do, delegate, and dump. And the do is very easy. The do is, this is your zone of genius, what you can do every day to help your business. Of course, as it's your zone of genius, it's normally linked also with the high impact, high income activities. But it's important that you do them and that you planify them. Then the delegate, this is what is less your zone of genius, but it's important for your business. And if you know someone who can do it at least 80% or even more better than you can, then just delegate it, because this will free up your time. And so you can be more present into your zone of genius. And apart from that, it can create also time for you to do other things that again will energize you and that you can do with friends, family, and that you will love to do. The other part is the automation. And certainly today, in a world where technology and certainly AI are so important, you can use them in a positive way. You don't have to use them for everything, but if you use them to automate things, it will again free up time. And it's impressive to see how much hours we can gain a week just by thinking how we can automate things that are recurring every day. And then the last T, it's the dump. And the dump, this has everything to do with what is really draining you. And on top of that, it's not giving you any results. So zero return of investment. So if you have tasks and actions like that, just dump it and you don't have to think about it. And then it's great to have prioritized your tasks, to do and delegate everything. But of course, you need to plan it, because if you don't plan it, then nothing will happen. And also there, I will give you some 2 examples that are interesting to just implement and that can guide you a little bit to have quick wins on this one. So if you plan your day for success, I can recommend you to use the 2-minute rule. Now, what do I mean with the 2-minute rule? It is that if you have something, a little task that pops up, and you can do it within 2 minutes, do it straight away, because it can really clear the mental clutter in your head. Of course, if you have like 20 things popping up of 2 minutes, then it's better to batch them and take a specific time for that. But it really helps, and it really helps also not to make your to-do list so much bigger. And then another practical example is plan tomorrow tonight. And this is something I've learned during one of the many courses and programs I followed with Tony Robbins. And plan tomorrow tonight is just at the end of each workday, you do a very quick checkup and you note down what will be your 3 priorities for the next day. And while you do that, you will see that the next day you will be already much more focused and you will have more clarity and you will feel calmer. And it is so important to do it. And we know that even if you plan your week in advance, that things will happen. Life just happens, and you cannot foresee a week in beforehand that tomorrow will be another day that you had foreseen. So just being crystal clear on these 3 priorities helps you to become more productive. So when I was telling plan your day for success, I have some tools, some practical tools that I use in my program. And the first one, it's the success planner. It's the way how you plan. And this is a success planner that I made where you will organize your tasks effectively. So it's with a dedicated time frame for each of, in general, your high income, high impact activities. The number 2 is making sure that in your success planner, you put your 3 top priorities in it, because it's important to have them there. And the number 3, it's your success tracker. And this is a tracker. Why? Because it will help you to, in this tracker, to put all the small steps that are important for you. And you can even have the same tracker with professional important tasks and some personal priorities as well. And when you do these small tasks as steps and you track them, it's not only important because you can only manage what you measure, but way more important is if you celebrate these small little wins because you're tracking them, you will feel more in momentum and you will have more confidence. So I hope this helps to have a little bit more planification into your day and to help you to create more time. Because I can assure you, if you are able to, first of all, prioritize your self-care, and secondly, work on working smarter, not harder, you will have another way of leading. And this is where all the joy will come from. So to end this session, I'd like to end with with saying and asking you, like, what is today the most powerful leadership strategy? I can tell you it's not another to-do list. It's not more hustle. It's not striving harder for unexpected or unrealistic expectations, but it is really leading with the joy of life method. Because when you lead with this joy, you will unlock what most leaders crave. You will unlock more time, more freedom, and more you. And when you lead with the joy of life method, joy is really not a luxury. It is your leadership fuel. On top of that, energy is really not infinite. So it's important to protect it wisely. And this is what I always say. And then alignment isn't soft. It is your greatest power. And I personally wish that more women in leadership knew this, because it is not okay that you to think that you had, anyway, I want to say that you don't have to sacrifice your well-being to succeed. And you don't have to choose between impact and alignment. You get to thrive on your own way, and you get to lead with joy. And let's make that the new strategy. So I'd like to end with this a beautiful quote that I personally like a lot, saying that joy of life is not something you find, but it's something you create. So, and if what I was telling during this presentation resonates with you and you're ready to take a small little step, then I'm happy to offer you my free Joy of Life assessment. It is like in 2 minutes, it's a small questionnaire, and in 2 minutes, you will get an idea about what is really giving you the stress, giving you the overwhelm and the exhaustion, and you will get a personalized full report with tips that you can use to reduce your stress and also to reclaim your time, your energy, and your joy. So this is the QR code that you can scan, and you can take a picture as well of this one, and I put it also in the resources. So if you want to go further, then of course I invite you to go and check out my website, and you can always join my Joy of Life program. And there you can start leading with clarity and confidence. So on my website, you will find my mail, my phone, you will find a Calendly link, and then you can find me also on LinkedIn on my name, Cindy van Eekhout. So there are so many ways to reach out to me. So if there is anything I can do to help you, because it really, like I told already, it inspires and it drives me a lot if I can help people to feel more joy in their lives, in their business lives, and in their personal lives. So thank you so much. I hope there were some practical tips you can use. And I'm all ready to listen and see what the questions are, Melinda.
Yeah, Cindy, that
Hello.
was a fantastic presentation. It's really awesome. And we have a few questions from our audience. I would like to ask you one question from of them. Yeah. What
Yes,
would
do
you say? What would you say to women who feel guilty for taking time for themselves?
as I told in the beginning, I understand that they feel guilty, but the most important thing is you can't pour out of an empty cup. And it's the same with an airplane. You always have to take the oxygen first in order to help others. So if you realize that it's important for you and this way of taking time that it will energize you, and thanks to this energizing moment you can then again help others even better, then in general people feel that they don't need to feel guilty. And you have to try it out, because you will feel like the more you and try it out with a small, like I said, with a small little time for yourself. So if you think like taking 1 hour it's much too long, just start with 5 or 10 minutes, but only for you in the morning with something that you like, and test it out and see what it gives you. But if you understand and if you are aware that it's just energizing yourself in order to serve others even better, you won't feel any guilt anymore.
Yeah, Cindy, thank you for your valuable answer. And please stay on the backstage and join the next session, Cindy.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Melinda, for organizing this together with your colleagues. And thank you for all the attendance
Yeah,
to have been here. Thank you.
thank you for your valuable time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.